You got to wake up every day and decide that you want it. You have to get up when you fall and still choose it. Continue to choose the things, the thoughts, the feelings, and the behaviors that all align with the things that you say that you want. You were made for more than just living on a rock and setting your bills on auto pay. It is time for you to embrace your brilliance. I'll see you in a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Embrace Your Brilliance live with Dr. Kim. If you are new here, my name is Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout. We create balance so we can express our well being and also our brilliance. Y'all, I got my water here on tonight because we need to be hydrated in this world. We really do. So thank you for coming on in. I definitely see your comments here. Shout out to the replay viewers. I definitely want to greet you as well. So say hello to me in the comments. Shout out to you for coming in. And also, community happens in the comments, right? So, what is one area of life that you need a sustainable action plan so you can live in alignment this year? If you are tired of your goals falling by the wayside, if you notice that, hey, February is over with. We set goals, in January, but I kind of fizzle out in, February, or you've already feel like you fizzled out, you are in the right place. We are going to go through this together. So I have with me my set of goals as well, and I will continue in theme with the rest of the videos that we've been doing here. I don't necessarily have a system because there are so many different goal setting systems out there. There's 12 weeks year. There's oh my gosh, so many of them, but that's the main one that sticks out in my mind is the 12-week year. There's another one. I can't think of the name of it right now, but whatever your system for setting goals and achieving goals, this is something that you can add into that to help maneuver you through it and to give you that encouragement and motivation to see in the long run with this. So let's talk about it as well. The first thing that we need to look at, so there are basically three things that we need. We need to build consistency, we need to be motivated, and we need a plan for the year. We need to have a sustainable plan for the year, meaning one that we're going to stick to and one that is thought out about what is coming ahead, right? And we're going to talk about some tools that we can use for that also, so it can become a little easier for you. I want to make sure I am hearing the sound here. All right, we are good to go. So, the power of consistent action. Why is consistency something that we want to have in the formula? When we do things consistently, it sets us up for the win. There are no gaps in there. Now, I know you may be thinking, I don't do this every day, or I don't have my goals set up in a way where I can do something every day. If you're a busy person, I completely understand you not being able to touch things on a day by day basis, but you may be able to do something every 3 days. You may be able to do something at 6 p.m. every evening. You may be able to do something at 8:30 in the mornings, something on your commute. The things that you do daily They don't necessarily have to be in the form of consistency, but it can be in a form of frequency, meaning you can do it by the week, you can do something by the month, you can do something by a day or a time, and you can theme your days out. There are so many different options, right? But first off, why do we need consistency? And let's break down, the thing behind consistency, like it's a daily thing. We need consistency so we can reach a thing. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but you got to keep taking the next step with it. We build things over time through consistency. If we don't put in the time, we don't put in the effort, we're not going to get the results. It's as simple as that. So, we also, when we're thinking about consistency, we need to look ahead, looking ahead to the long term. And I got the titles at the bottom of the screen here. I hope y'all can see that so we can keep on track with my outline that I have. Looking ahead long term. What do we need long term for? You want to set your mind ahead. This is why we fizzle out. This is why by February it's like, oh no, it's I don't know even what I set myself out to do. It's just a list I made in my phone, or it's a list I made in a notebook somewhere and I don't even know what it is. So, a long term looking ahead, you're going to have to use the calendar of a tool. And the best way I have learned to keep it simple is, if you're a visual person, if you're a kinesthetic learner, things like that, if you like to touch things, you like to move things around, your post-it notes are great for you if you like to move things around. And if you're visual, if you kind of mix of all three of them. And I mean, of course, if you're audio as well, you can record yourself into things and play them back so you can hear yourself, and then maybe make it sound more clear to you when you do those things, or you're talking it out with a friend or somebody that's doing the same thing. Now, using your calendar, it doesn't have to be post-it notes. You can also just have the big monthly view. I know so many of us have plenty of journals and planners and calendars. If you're somebody here who's watching this, I'm sure you do. Now, those big bird's eye view, the ones with the boxes in the 31 days, I think this is an excellent way to use that calendar. So that way you can put, the steps you want to take or the things that you want to focus on by the week, because you're going to have to look at your goals and you're going to have to spread them out. And when I say spread them out, I mean, you can't jumble up everything in one place. You're not going to be able to do this and this and this and this and this, because if you divide your focus, you divide your attention, that's another thing that's stopping you from getting things done. And I know that has helped someone as well. I have to tell myself consistently to slow down, to make sure that I have chunked down things into bite-sized pieces so we can get ahead on things. But looking ahead for the long term, you're going to look through your year. And that's what I like about the big bird's eye view calendar, the one where it's got the boxes in it, where you turn the little booklet. They cost like $1 at the dollar store. And I know I usually get one. That I started off with planners. I started getting one when I was a student in school. And I always wondered, I was like, well, what can I use this big monthly calendar for? Thank you. That's the name of it. It's the monthly view calendar. And you can look from January to December and say, well, this month I want to focus on this. I want to focus on this. I want to focus on that. And of course, you got your list, right? And the things that you want to focus on. And you're able to look at your vacations in there, other people's schedules, things that affect your time. So that way you can see everything at a bird's eye view. It will help you set up your priorities, your availabilities, and you won't be too crowded because you've got everything spread out. The other thing with making sure you're looking ahead of time and planning for the long term is making sure your routines are in place. Our routines help us to build consistency. This is what I was talking about with doing things, whether it's weekly, monthly, or a certain time of the day. And the best way I've learned to habitize. I call it habitizing. Is through Atomic Habits. That book has really opened my eye to another world. It's helped me with productivity. It makes so much sense to my brain on how to make something simple, on how to make it obvious, on how to make something fun and rewarding and help and for it to be motivating for me, and how to build it into routines that I already have. That's known as habit stacking, as some of you may already know with that one also. So we got consistency and we got some tools that we can use to build that through and put that in. We can go forward with it. Hey Shelby, how you doing? We also need to understand the concept of compounding over time. This is where it's not just consistency, but it's being persistent as well. Compounding, the concept of a lot of people, I think, use that in finance terms, but it's basically when little things start to add up over time. Different skill sets and practices develop over time into mastery. Things snowball, or with each addition of something, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. A little will lead to a lot. Whatever you steadily practice or steadily say and put into action, that's exactly what you're going to get. Those are the outcomes. And the power of compounding is you you get to the value just by taking the small steps, and you understand the reward in it like immediately. Not that you receive anything immediately, but you know that you're growing things toward. You start to develop things over time, you become more resilient, and you also get to avoid burnout when you compound. You're already compounding now, I will say that. If you are somebody that's prone to putting things off over and over and over again, that's what you are compounding, and that's the interest that you will have. It's just going in a direction that may not be helping you as much. But when we start to take little small steps on a day by day basis and we tweak those steps, we start to compound in the direction of the things that we want. Alrighty. So I am answering questions in the comments as well if a question comes up for you. And I will rewatch this, and I'll be checking out your comments as well here. So the second thing we want to have is that year-round plan. So I kind of got into this already, but I found with that big plan or view, if I don't have one in a particular paper planner that I like to use, I like to put it in a digital system so I can see everything. Some people like using Trello, some people like using Asana, some people like using, it's not Notable, oh God, what is Notion? Some people love Notion and the templates and the rabbit holes that you can go down into this. It's amazing. It's so many different things that you can use. So what is a year-round action plan? Your year-round action plan, that's exactly what it is. You go through January all the way up to December. Some people like to split their years into quarters, and if you follow in the 12-week year, you will pretty much split a year. You would be able to compact a goal, or maybe, yeah, a goal into 12 weeks, and you would chunk them down into 12-week increments. And I think that is wonderful, because if you're used to over planning and overworking, you have to put limits on yourself. You have to set boundaries for yourself on those type of things also, so you won't get overwhelmed and stuck, or you won't be able to see the results of what you have planned. The first thing is, just like I said, with that planning system, is being able to break down your goals. I have started to use a digital process with that. Just like I said, I like to see my entire year that I'm, focusing and looking at things. I like to look at it from, I like to just dump everything in there. That's what I've learned, because I've tried to use the little post-it notes and the little index cards so I could limit myself. And I found that, okay, it's just better if I just purge it all out of my mind, and then I just sort through it. I categorize it. I'm able to move bits of information around. That's the power of having a digital system. And some people even like using whiteboards, the digital whiteboards for this. Um, but either way, breaking down the big goals and giving yourself a limit on the number of goals that you want to use. We also want to have regular check-in times. When you have the goal, you definitely need to track it. But one of the other major game over moves is being able to have a regular check-in. Why? Because you get to see your progress. You get to celebrate your progress. You get to work with others who are in a place of synergy with that as well when we're able to have check-ins. So some people may be saying, okay, I don't really have a person. We're going to talk about that as well. I also did a live about having a support system, knowing how to create support. You can go back and watch that. We are on YouTube. If you are not subscribed, if you are not following me, I don't know what you're waiting on, especially if you're into this type of content and you like talking about being ready for your year of alignment, then I suggest you go ahead and follow me. I am doing live streams right now, but that's on YouTube, and the name of my channel is Align with Dr. Kim. So, doing regular check-ins, checking in with yourself, checking in with your accountability group, an accountability partner. One of my mentor circles that I am in, we call it your thinking partner, your thought partner, so you can work through things and talk through things so you can make them into take action steps from it and gain clarity just with the other person. Those are some huge things that can happen because it will prevent you from veering off. Veering off, I will say this: falling is inevitable. Inevitable. You don't have to veer off too far. You can have bumpers and guards for that. That's what the regular check-ins are for, to make sure you're not going too far left, to make sure that you're sticking to the original plan, to make sure that you're living in your truth, to make sure that you're living in your values. I will stop and say this as well. Sometimes when you are working on a goal, you're going to feel like, I'm really not connected to this. And that's when you need to have the check-in moment. If it's something that you hadn't been working on or touching towards, it's important to look into it, to see, why haven't I, pressed into this? Why am I not leaning into this? Is there something I'm trying to avoid? Is there something that I'm afraid of? Like, what's on the other side of this thing? Why do I keep hesitating? And you be really honest with yourself on that. That is an honoring way to live in your truth and to make sure that you are in alignment with your values, because it's more than just knowing about your values, but you want to actually live true to your values. Hey, thank y'all for the likes. Thank you for the hearts on the video. Thank you for letting me know you're enjoying this. And this is the other point, being able to, so I talked about, this is it, yeah. Scheduling regular check-ins. Yeah, the next point is, how do we stay motivated throughout the year? This is the other thing that we need to be aligned all year long. We talked about the consistency. We talked about having a year-round plan versus just planning for the month, planning a month at a time. Make sure you're planning for the long haul, that you're looking ahead and asking yourself those important questions. What is it that I need to continuously work on this goal and complete it? So being able to stay motivated throughout the year. Motivation. A lot of people say you don't need motivation. I know if you listen to Mel Robbins, I think she is one of the ones that say, you don't need it. That was her biggest thing about doing the 5-second rule that she says she discovered. And Mel is amazing with the things that she has reported to the world, things that have changed her life and that is changing lives of so many people, right? You're supposed to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and launch yourself into the thing versus having looking for motivation or waiting for motivation. She's telling you to do it afraid to do it anyway. And a lot of times that's it. You make the decision to go for it and you do it. But how do we plan to do that so we can stay motivated? Because yeah, there are gonna come some detractors and some things that are gonna try to cause you not to see those things. I gotta take a sip of water. Hey, Dr. Omar. Omar said, Amen. So true. He said, I'm working on doing that now instead of month to month. Yeah, because you have decided that you are going the entire year. So you plan for the entire year. You plan to have a long haul for the entire year. That is awesome. I'm glad that is something that you have already put into the mix for yourself. So, first thing I would say is be willing to adjust, because there are things that will happen that will kind of make you want to throw the white flag up and surrender. But this is where we start to have practice this self-compassion with ourselves. We can, after, like I said, do those check-ins, do those follow-ups with ourselves, with our other accountability groups and partners, our support groups. It's okay to say, hey, I may have to adjust this. I may have to realize that I have the vision and I can change the strategy. I can change the method. I don't have to do it one way. If this is something that is more important to me in the next quarter, then give yourself the wiggle room to adjust like that. Now, we don't want to be adjusting everything and pushing things out of the way. And I will just stop here and say also, if you find that you have been, quite fearful of it and you need that support with talking to someone, therapy is a wonderful option for that also, because there may be some negative belief or core negative belief patterns that you have that just that's how they're showing up, and it's really tough for you to press through it. Or if anxiety is coming up, or if it's something that you want to journal about so you can explore your own thoughts and feelings about that, by all means do that so you can do what you need to do to move ahead. Now, being able to adjust your methods, being able to adjust your time, being able to adjust how you approach something, all of those things will challenge you, especially if you're somebody who likes to give it your all. People who like to give it their all, I'm one of those people recovering from that. Usually tend to have all this or nothing, all or none thinking, all or nothing. It's all or nothing. And that type of thinking can really close you off to abundance. It can close you off to getting the things that work for you, getting the things that can work better for you. And just entertain it for a little bit, entertain it. Hey, I may not know everything. Let me see what else I can do. This is being in your resilient era. Um, Being a person that is flexible and adjustable, you want to be mentally flexible, you want to be emotionally flexible here, because the rigidity of it all, that's when people crack, that's when people break, that's when people they get fed up and you throw it in the towel. And that is a natural response, especially when you have not worked on being flexible before, or you've never heard of being mentally flexible. You don't even know what that is. Yes, it's something that can be done. It's recognizing that, hey, I don't have to have it done an exact certain way in order for the goal and the outcome to be met. Sometimes it's just perfectionism and these illusions that pop up, thinking all of the things in our ego, this lifetime of events and feelings and things that have happened to us, and how our brain has given meaning to certain things, and we think it all has to be that way, when really it's just like some days all you got to do is show up and just talk and you'll get the thing done, minus all the bells and whistles. I know that was for somebody. I know that was for somebody. It really was. Hey, Miss Clark, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live. Another thing is to be motivated throughout the year is celebrating milestones. Oh my gosh. Celebrate everything. Just celebrate it all. There will be times when you need to acknowledge what you've done, not just as a preliminary to any type of success or any other levels of success, but because your own psyche, your own emotional, mental well being calls for it. You need to validate yourself, your effort, and the work that you've put in. You can give that to yourself because I think a lot of times we may have grown up in environments where we did not receive the praise that we needed. We were not praised as children. We may have been looked at as burdens instead of being praised for our efforts and our work. And sometimes we put forth so much effort and work because we were, um, I won't say abandoned, but because we experienced some type of neglect. And everybody, yes, nobody grew up in a perfect environment. No one. Everyone has been exposed to some level of trauma. That's just the name of the game. All right, Omar said, yep, been there waving that white flag. Yes. It'll make you want to throw in the towel. Make me want to holler, throw up both my hands. Sorry about that. I get random music that pop in my brain. I had to go there, right? It's all fun because I know somebody else was thinking that too. So being able, and that's another way to celebrate milestones is to have a dance party. Somebody may be asking, like, I don't know how to celebrate. How do I celebrate this? What do I do? You share things with a safe person, with a friend that you can share things with. When you have completed a semester or something in college and you worked really hard and you are proud of yourself for the grades and for the understanding that you got, you give yourself a trip somewhere. You take a trip somewhere. You plan for it even while you're planning. That's what I love about this. You plan your celebrations while you are planning your year. It's like, yep, when I do, I'm back up to that monthly view thing. It's like, yep, these are the things that I want to do in this month. And I'm gonna give myself a break, a reward session here. You don't have to go buy anything. I'm not telling you that. People who like to do retail therapy, you're gonna do it anyway. So you listen or don't listen, it's fine with me. But you plan something for yourself. And yes, you should be celebrating and giving yourself moments of joy all the time. But wouldn't it be so much sweeter if while you are enjoying the thing, you can acknowledge the fact that, hey, I've accomplished something, I've done a thing, and I just want to share that and just dwell in it a little bit longer. You want to dwell in it. You want to just, I won't say marinate, but you want to set the ambiance for it. So when you're going into your next thing, you're not stepping in cold. You stepping in all nice and warm and glowy from the last thing. So that way you can continue to enjoy. Some people like to, like, kids have the award wall or the plaque wall. You can give yourself awards. You can make up awards for yourself. You can make up awards for your friends. And y'all just trade things out like that in your circles. Wouldn't that be fun? I think that's fun. Whether you're a male or a female, you definitely can do that. So yeah, celebrate the milestones. The other thing is practicing self-compassion. And I think I talked about this already, but giving yourself grace when you're trying to stay motivated. There are gonna be some times where you're gonna have some tough things to happen, and I don't think any of us, we want to necessarily look at that or try to dwell on that part of it. But being in a place where you can be loving and kind to yourself and practice that, you will become a more mentally healthy person, meaning that you've got the mental flexibility, you bend but you don't break, and you have a resiliency that is deeper now because you understand that you are operating from a place of love from a place of self-love. And I feel like that's just the root of all discipline anyway. Yeah, I used to have such an issue with that word discipline. I had to work on that for so long just to reframe that. I was like, if I love myself, these are the things that I'm going to do. Even in the Christian faith with obedience, that's another big word. And I used to just feel weird. I was like, people would tell me, it's like, have you read that in the word? That's God's love language. If you love me, you'll obey my commandments. You'll keep my word. And it took me a while to understand it, y'all. It took me a while. And I was like, you know what? It's all about trust. It's all about who and what you really trust. Like whatever you commit to or you become a disciple of, or whatever you have a discipleship in, or you're disciplined in that thing and you're committed to it, you have a love for it. You have a level of faith or a level of worry about it, because it can be in a negative direction too. We can be disciplined in negative things and not even know it. I know, right? I went on a tangent there for a moment. But what I'm really trying to just display is having a compassionate view of yourself and handling yourself in a compassionate way versus, saying really mean things about yourself. Basically, if you wouldn't say it to the dog, or you wouldn't say it to your child, you wouldn't tell your best friend that, you wouldn't tell somebody on authority, that you probably shouldn't be saying it to yourself or saying it about yourself. There's, sometimes we have to do a little mental cleanup, and we have to practice that. Even if it's, hey, I really work towards this, and I am I am getting better at it every day. That is something positive to say, even if it's in a neutral position, right? So that can help us to stay motivated when going forward. Focusing on the process over the outcome, about who we are becoming. This one was tough for me to get. I worked with a productivity coach that I had for a while, and this was one of the last things I remember us talking about is enjoying the process versus being stressed out about the outcome and when it needed to happen. I was such a person, target, goal outcomes oriented. This is the mission, this is the goal, you must get the thing. If you didn't get this, you failed the mission. I know I sound like GI Joe, GI Jane right now. You failed the mission. You just, oh God. But yeah, me not reaching my goals was such a point of shame for me, and I really struggle with that. And so when I started just embracing and enjoying the process, and realizing that, hey, I am growing as a person. That's that self compassion. That's that self love. I had to reach that spot. It's something I had to work for. I am someone capable of reaching my goals. Because instead of being afraid of them, it's like, yes, we are, going all out full throttle towards this. And then the lesson from going through the burnout, I am going to go full throttle, but I'm also going to be well rested. Yes, I'm going to be well watered while I do this. I am going to be, just relishing in the amazement of the process and how everything around me just supports me in this. You see how that was I sounded different versus go, 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 mission, 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 mission. It took some years to get to that point. But now I'm sharing this with you so you can recognize those things within yourself. You may have had a season where you used to be like that, or if you're like that now in this season, I still submit and surrender to you that it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to be nice to yourself. It's okay if you feel bad about it, but you still want to continue forward. And you've decided that, you know what, this is just too heavy to think about it that way. So I'm going to do like Dr. Kim said, and I am going to look at the process more. I'm going to enjoy how I'm growing. I am going to test myself how I'm growing, and I am going to challenge myself, and I am going to embrace all of the gifts and everything that I discover about myself in this process. There you go. You got it. There you go. I know you got it. I just want to say thank you. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Thank you so much, Brother Omar, for being here as well. Um, I definitely want to share with you again that I am on Align with Dr. Kim on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. This is taking some work. This is a live stream right now, and I am testing that out. I am liking being able to chat with you all in real time, to be able to comment on your messages, to go back and see those things as well. But yes, this has been another episode, a lovely episode. I quite enjoyed it, of embracing brilliance. I am your host, Dr. Kim, and I will see you all in the next one.